Hello, Teeper fans, and welcome to another great episode of our Coaches Show. And we finally have managed to finagle in here Coach Ammon Bennett, the head coach of the women's soccer team. Coach Ammon, it's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Yeah, thanks. Glad to be here.
It's just soccer season's in full swing. You're already played 3 games, and so we're definitely going to have lots to talk about today. So starting record of 1-0-2. Unfortunately, the last game didn't quite end up quite how we wanted to, but we'll get there. So let's start just overall kind of the good, the bad, and what can be improved.
Yeah, you know, we're a little bit larger on the freshman side, and so we have a really good team. We have really good players, great attitudes. We work hard every day. Just getting them on the same page. And to be honest, we switched up a defensive idea, and going into the last game, we switched that idea without really working on it. It was, hey, you got to do this tomorrow. We had just come off a game against Utah State Eastern, a very good team. Both teams had opportunities to put it away. We had one late, hit the crossbar. Yes. It was 8-8 shots on goal, and that's really what you kind of go down to. In other words, both keepers had to make 8 saves in that game. But yeah, we had to switch up some ideas. We are in a way to look at it. We're ahead of last year as far as where I think our overall quality of play is, but we still got to connect on a few things, and then we got a couple of injuries that have come up the last few days, and that always kind of slows you up. And 3 games in 4 days is always kind of tough, but we're moving along. We're strong defensively. We've only given up 2 goals. Only given up 2 goals, even if you include all of our scrimmages as well. So we're doing well. Good team, good attitude. Really can't complain about the group at all.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. Watching these past, couple of games, I've noticed really the depth that you have on your team when you substitute a player, and it's the intensity or level of play doesn't drop at all. It just continues to go, and it's been fun to watch the transfers in or substitutions in and out, and great play all around.
Yeah, it was a little bit of an issue last year. Didn't have great depth. Didn't sometimes have the players that, like you said, when you substitute a player and that person coming in, the play can't drop off. The dynamic can't change. And last year there was too much of that. When you'd have to sub, you almost had to switch up almost an attitude. Okay, we're in this mode now. Now let's go back to this mode. And now it's we can definitely be a little bit more pressure, a little bit quicker, not really worrying about, all right, we got to put that kid in now. So that's a good thing for us.
Yeah, because so with this one, it keeps your coaching style consistent, whereas before it might have been, okay, well, now I have to coach a little bit differently because of the style.
Yep. Last year was that way. This year, definitely not. And again, we changed up some idea defensively to get just a little bit more aggressive going into the last game that we had, and we liked it. The result in the end was a little bit sour. Didn't lose the game, but we gave up a late goal, which ended up being in a tie, and so that was a little bit disappointing.
Right, and we'll get to that one because, that one was just fun to watch, and then just at the very end, in the 89th minute, it's just but first, let's start with the Utah State Eastern game. It ends up in a 0-0 draw. Very heavily, I would say, defensive game. Lots of opportunities. And then you mentioned already there was a crossbar. I was screaming for it, and it just ping, and just, so close.
We had it, and they're a very good team, and we knew that there's several girls on that team that I had actually recruited, and we knew that they were going there, and so that it was going to be tough. Their head coach is a former assistant of mine. Okay. And of course I coached and started the programs there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, two little bit different styles. Utah State was definitely more of a they want to get it in the box as much as possible into the 18, create havoc, and it can result in a few more chances. I think overall the game, if you just include a shot or something that might have been directed towards a goal, it was like 17-12 for them. Mm-hmm. But shots on goal was 8-8. Yeah. In the first half, we had 2 through balls that probably should have scored. They went right to the keeper. And then late in the game, probably about 8-9 minutes left, I think Macy Sickler had an opportunity that the keeper was beat. She took the shot. It looks like it's going in. Right at the last minute, kind of knuckles up and hits the crossbar.
Yep.
And that was the game winner. Would have been.
Yep.
But really, really good team. I think Utah State will go a long way, even in a very competitive Region 18 that they're in.
Very competitive. Yes.
They may do very, very well. So.
Right, because then you play someone the very next day in that same region, CSI, who, this is their first year as a program, kind of sharing a head coach between the men and women's soccer team, which I definitely could not do that because I understand that the women's game is much different than the men's game. Not to say it's worse or whatever, just a different style.
Sure. Yeah, the CSI was very solid. We were tired, played a hard game the day before. But our depth came out, and we were able to play a lot of different players. We subbed a little bit more because of that. That takes away some dynamic from the game. But I thought we controlled it. I think we were up 2-0. They scored a late goal off of with some wind. It kind of goes up, hangs up in the air, hits the crossbar, kind of bangs around and goes in. And CSI kind of had a similar style to Utah State. They want to get the ball forward and play it into the box and get it up in there and create havoc as much as they can. We handled it pretty well, but happy to get the win on a windy day because you're everything you're trying to do doesn't work very well. So it's about effort, about trying to do the right things as much as possible.
Right, because even when you watch the game and if you're going into the wind, you can really see if you're trying to clear it or if the goalkeeper's trying to deep ball. It just goes up in the air and just stalls. It comes right down. So I imagine you've kind of talked to the goalkeeper of, hey, keep it kind of more on a line drive. It's like you can't go up high, otherwise you're going to get that.
Everything into the wind, keep it down. And we know we had the wind the first half, and it's okay. We got to try to find a few goals because it's always harder, even if they're going to get that advantage back. Well, they're a little bit more tired now. So if you can get up into that wind or with that wind, you always have a really big advantage. And we kind of take the wind. When you can get your mode in the offensive thought and the other team has to defend a lot, they're going to be a little bit more tired in the second half. And so even though they have a wind advantage, sometimes taking it can help you.
Right. And I know Taylor Miller had a great unassisted goal, goes up, keeper comes out, somehow manages to maintain possession, kicks it right in, was wonderful to watch. And then nice work between Bethany Strand and Michelle Cave to kind of pass back and forth. And Michelle Cave just nets it in. I'm seeing some great potential here for this team.
Yeah, there really is. We really like what we're doing. We're getting there. So
awesome. And even with Coach Cheese, that wind came into effect with that one goal, man, from about 50, 60 yards out. Brittany Egbert just and gets not necessarily even just a lucky bounce, but goalkeeper misplays it, goes over the head.
Well, when that game started, it was very calm. Yeah. The wind was, and we knew the weather forecast, and maybe they weren't paying attention, but we decided, nope, we're gonna take this side of the field first if we win the toss, hoping that at some point that wind would kick up, and it did, and it favored us in the end. Unfortunately, we didn't. We should have scored several other times. Their goalkeeper made a couple of really good saves. We missed some other ones.
Oh, yeah.
And in the end, we give up a late goal, which was unfortunate.
Yeah, I believe they even had switched goalkeepers from the first half to the second half. And that second goalkeeper, I think Alicia Garwood was her name. There were some fantastic saves she made.
Yep, she made at least two in the second half that, off the foot, we were like, oh, that's a goal, and then and she got a hand on it, which was to her credit very, very good. So.
Absolutely. So, and then in the 89th minute, just some miscommunication, a couple errors.
Yeah, and again, it's your beginning of the year. We got, we didn't manage that last minute. Just a little bit cleaner. Play a ball out, play it up, do anything, take it to the corner. A couple of defensive mistakes trying to win a ball, and then, they get a long ball in, and there's some pinging around, some bodies hitting each other, and maybe there's a call that should have been made and they didn't, but that's what you live with, and they were able to put one in. Coach East is a good team. They had not lost coming into that. They had just beaten Western Wyoming 3-0 a couple days before, and they beat North Idaho 2-0. I thought we were We were a little stronger than them. They had a couple of very dangerous players, though, and in the end, their style. Again, same thing. A little bit more direct, a lot of in the box, a lot of big switches. We handled it until right at the very end. And had we put a couple more away like we should have, the goal wouldn't have been of any matter.
Right. Overall, great weekend. 1-0-2, maybe not exactly what we want, but I think still lots of great things.
I mean, no losses, so we kind of look at it that way. Hey, nobody's beating us. In a couple instances, we kind of beat ourselves. So, clean up a couple things like that. We always kind of have that when we talk. Hey, don't beat yourselves. And that was one of the bigger things that we talked about. Hey, the 2 games we gave up a couple of goals that I don't know that they really generated. We kind of made the mistake. And that's what's more frustrating. Hey, they make a great play. They do something awesome. Well, you give them a high five because it was really good. But it's frustrating if you do it to yourself. So we just got to fix that. We'll be all right.
All right. Well, then looking forward now. So I imagine practices will be all week. Friday, Saturday, you're on the road. Remind me again who we're playing.
So we're playing Salt Lake Saturday. They're ranked 6th in the nation. And so we're at Salt Lake. We stay there over Labor Day. And on Monday, we play Truckee Meadows out of Reno. 2 very good teams.
Absolutely, and both in the same conference that
Region 18,
yeah,
same
Region
as
18, the
same as
Western
USU.
Scenic.
So we'll end up playing 4 teams out of that region.
And that, like we've already talked about, that region is very tough.
Yep.
And so, what can we expect against Salt Lake Community College?
I haven't watched film of them yet. We'll watch that. I'll watch it later tonight. But they're very good. They're going to have very good speed. Their midfield is very solid. They've got a player in there from Japan. I know that scored. They played Laramie County, beat them 4-0. So we're gonna have our hands full. We want to go in and compete, and we want to learn. If we're fortunate that we win the game, well, great. But if we go into it and we play really well, and the result isn't what you want, you walk away feeling like, hey, you know what? A couple things here and there, we're okay. Go down there and make a ton of mistakes and look awful, then that's frustrating.
Right.
But we play those games. You've got to be challenged. And our opening set of games, every one of them, our first 5 non-conference games are all going to be challenging. And so, you go through and you have a great record when you finish that set. Well, you go into conference play, and that's always the goal to win the region and district anyway out of your own conference. But you got to be tested before you start that.
Right.
You go in and play a bunch of nobodies and win a whole bunch of games, score a bunch of goals, and you feel good about yourself, but have never been challenged. So all of these games, we've had to make some adjustments and fix some things that a really good team exposes, and that's a good thing. But Salt Lake, very, very good. And we want to see where we're at. Our goal is, we want to win the region. We want to win the district. We want to be at the Nationals in Kansas City. A team like Salt Lake and competing with them shows us if we're there.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I know last year was a heartbreak, and I totally think that last year's team would have won the Region 9, but just that those PKs.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. We were the best team in the league as far as we were undefeated during the regular season, and then you get in a game, bad weather, bad field, you got to deal with it.
Yep.
And it wasn't a pretty game for either team, but it goes to PKs, and now it's kind of all right. Who's gonna, in a sense, you prepare for it. Now you got to execute, a 12-yard shot, and we didn't. We missed a couple. Their keeper made a save, and that's it. You lose.
So hopefully, I imagine after watching these last games, just minimize the errors, go into the Salt Lake game, trying to compete naturally.
Yeah.
And then Monday against Truckee Meadows, I believe last year was the first time we played them, correct?
We scrimmaged them a couple years ago up there, but I've known their coach and known him for years, and so whenever we can, we try to hook up a game. A 1-0 game, I think it was here last year.
Sounds about right.
Very competitive game. He's a very good coach. They're very good. They make good runs, good team soccer. Whether they have an individual superstar or not, I don't know, but I know that they always play good team, organized soccer. And so you got to play a team of 11. Sometimes you go up against a team and they got 11 out there, but it's only 2 or 3 you got to worry about. And you got to play their whole team. So, again, be a challenge, and we're on the road and on turf. And so all of those things are challenges that that we look forward to. But they're very good.
Well, we definitely look forward to. Hopefully, we can find some links. I would imagine they're going to be streaming them. But
I believe the Salt Lake game is. I'm not sure if Truckee Meadows will be. We'll have our camera down there, but whether we can get it hooked, if there's Wi-Fi and stuff for our own, we'll see if we can't figure that out. But I think they both are.
All right. Well, we'll definitely be cheering you on, whether we can watch it or not. But we're liking and very hopeful for a great season.
Yeah, we will. We'll be good.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach, and fans. We hope to see you next time.